Okay, so in this part of the series, we are going to talk about a very important topic, which is called props. We're going to dive deep what props are in React. And before I tell you that, in the previous tutorial, we covered JSX, right? And as you know, like we are going to talk more about JSX because React is kind of a lot of JSX and logic, right? So as I shown you that we have like in a component we have a function call, right? We have a function app, and then we have a return statement inside which we put this h1 tag, and they have put like hello world, and we're importing this react here. So what's going on? Like as I told you, browsers, they don't understand react, but they understand JavaScript. So under the hood, babel or whatever compiler react is using going to convert this code into this one. So over here, instead of like putting like h1 in like that, we are calling this react module, and we have a method in that which is called create element, and this is a kind of function, right? And these are the arguments to that function. So when we pass that, we get hello world in return in as h1. So this is how like concise way of understanding how react convert react code into javascript. So this is what I wanted to show you before we talk about props. All right, so we are in our code editor. Let's create in the app directory, let's create a component called, let's create a folder called components. In component, let's create a file, add numbers.tsx. Pretty basic stuff. All I did is in the app folder, created a components folder. Inside I have add numbers. And as you notice, like there are different convention you can use to naming your components. Some people they do like this way. I don't know what they call it, like add numbers. You can do that as well. That's totally fine. Um, let's stick with that because this is the current convention. You previously we used to like name it whatever our component name is, but like things changing, this is kind of a new way. Yeah, it's totally up to you. You can write whatever, but following conventions are good because other people will do the same, and it won't like then you won't get confused. Neither they'll get confused, right? Okay, so um let's write a simple JavaScript function. This is a simple JavaScript function. Yeah, don't worry about errors or anything. We're going to fix that. Over here, we have this add number. Pretty basic thing, right? Add number function. These are two parameters, and we console logging them. So easy, right? Let's comment that because I want to show you something. Now let's create a function add numbers, and I am doing, instead of like x or y, I'm just putting a props here. And we saw in the previous tutorial that whatever you put inside the curly brackets, like you can fetch like other variables inside this. So think of like that. So now whatever props, maybe props is an object, right? Prop has an x property, you can fetch that. Props has a y property, you can fetch that. Just an example, right? Now what we can do inside our page.tsx, I don't know why I created that. Let's leave that. In the page.tsx, let's remove all that. We don't need that. And let's import add numbers component. And it won't do that because I'm doing a thing here. I'm not exporting it. So if I do export default add number and save that and come here and now try to see, now it's recommending that I can import it. So we did few things. First of all, I'm exporting this module so that this page can import it. So that's the first thing you learn. Now, to call this function, what you need to do is, just giving a simple example. You need to do like add numbers, number in this case, 4 and 5. So you need to pass those arguments, right? Then only it can calculate what two numbers you want to add. Pretty generic stuff, right? Similarly, if you come here, I need to pass those numbers. So what's going on here is this is the, consider it like a child component. So that component is rendering here, and we know that it needs props. It needs prop. It's right now it's complaining because uh, it has a type issue, so it can like infer that, and we can give it number, and we can give it number. So what we did, we give our props a type. Now it's not complaining, but this won't work. Let me show you. If I come here, if I refresh that, see, sum of two numbers are nan. So what's going on here is pretty interesting thing. It's trying to calculate that, and this is probably undefined, and this is probably undefined, and adding an undefined and undefined is nan. Let's check it out. Inspect. Let me move that here. In the console, let's do undefined plus undefined. It's nan. So we were correct. So what's going on here is it doesn't know what props is. So right now it's undefined. That's the beauty of JavaScript. You can say like your code doesn't break, like the website doesn't break. It just make it undefined and then just do the calculation. I know some people will make fun of it like it's nan. So let's not talk about that. But if you think about like undefined plus undefined, you're adding two things which are not numbers. So it's kind of correct, right? But let's not go down that road because we have something to fix. Now it's complaining. What it's saying? Now type is missing the following properties x and y. Now TypeScript is throwing the error. This is the beauty of TypeScript, that now TypeScript knows, okay, here you said we need to pass two numbers. Sorry, you're not passing that. So how do we fix that? We pass that. We put x is equal to, let's say, 4, and we put y equal to, let's say, 5, and we save it. We go here, we refresh it. I don't know why it's not auto refreshing, but that's okay. And now you can see sum of two numbers are 9. So we learned what props are. This is the like the basic definition of prop. Like these are the props. Props you can think of like arguments, parameters like you pass to a function, right? So now there's another important concept you understand, which I briefly talk about, is like parent and child component. So here, this home component is parent component, and this is our child component. And I'm saying a mistake I did, like I put two home. So just, yeah, I should have planned this better, but uh, yeah, I shouldn't have like two component with the same name, but I was just trying to explain you something. So yeah, so don't get confused here. Let's close that. So here I am passing props to my child components. So you can think of, maybe I'll show you the diagram here. Like, so this is your, let's say, parent component, and now you can have multiple child components. So I'm just drawing like differently, like this is child component, this is a child component, and this is a child components, and these are like individual pieces of blocks, like you build it, and let's say this is kind of one page and you're like adding those components. One of the most important thing you need to understand, that in React, uh, you can always pass data parent to child. This is the unidirectional way of passing data in React. Like this is the only way, just like we saw here. Like we're passing arguments from parent to child. This is the parent component, the child, and we're passing our arguments here. This is all you need to understand parent and child. And I know lots of complexity you'll know in the future, but for now, if you understood this, this is like 50, 60, maybe 70% of React. Basically, yes. Maybe 50% because rest 50 is like state logic, but basically you understood 50% of React today. Congratulations. There is complexity, but you can build those complexity based on this very foundation. And if you understood this, rest of the learning React is comparatively easier. I think I can wrap this part of the tutorial now, because now you understood what props are. There are different ways, like I can fix this further because there's a lot of repetition, like props and props, but I think we can do that in the next video because I don't want to make it too long.